بيغمى، حب نطير ونطير لفوق، يحبوا يقصوا لجناحي، قولي ذكراني مخنوق ومنك طالب اسماحي
وما كلها بوحلة.
What's up, guys? Back at it again. Got another video for you today, obviously. Let's cue the intro, because I gotta really think about what the hell I'm gonna talk about. Ah, man, morning coffee. Morning coffee! Woo! Love the morning coffee. Feel good. I just worked out. Of course, I didn't work out that much recently because I'm working like a dog. I can show you all my miles I work every day. It's like 890, 870, 830, 860. And then one day that was like 300, which was my court day, or the day before court, because I had to get to court. Anyways, beside the point. I don't know why I'm going down weird tangents, but I feel good today, and I feel like this might be able to, I can articulate this well enough for you guys. Now, I made a video in the past when I was talking about the occult. I was doing the Matrix segments maybe about 6 months ago, maybe longer. Yeah, probably longer, probably closer to a year ago now. And I made a video on satanic, occult, Luciferian. I did a video on that. And I want to reiterate a lot of things in that, which I believe. And I see all the evidence for it, and I'd like to relate that to you. I was just on the phone with my roommate. My roommate's one of those people that believe in the end times. And, of course, in the Bible, especially like Revelation, and of course many other books of the Bible, I have read the Bible 3 times cover to cover, and 6 times just the New Testament. So I've read it enough where I totally get it. I've read the New King James Version, the majority of them. The New King James. No, the King James Version, not the New King James. I've read the King James Version and the NIV version of the Bible. So that's what I'm versed in. That's what I understand. A lot of people think that I'm anti-religious. It's not essentially that I'm anti-religious. It's just I'm a philosopher. I can't be succumbed to nonsense, essentially. But there are some aspects, especially when the Bible talks about the end of times, in which it correlates to what's going on now. And, of course, I was raised Catholic. I became a Christian at a very young age when my mom married my stepdad. Around that time period, we started going to Christian churches, got away from the Catholic Church. So, I'm well versed in Christianity. I enjoy Christianity in some aspects. And I think it's very beneficial in a lot of aspects. Of course, I've made a lot of videos that, I don't know, talk shit about Christianity, right? And I've talked about how basically the elites have been manipulating Christianity to do their bidding. And I don't mean elites like the highest up. I just mean when you trickle down the occult system, there is people in place designed to do certain activities. Of course, I made that video, The Powers That Be. I made the video about secret societies and the occult. That whole segment was, those few videos in a row that I was making, was all designed to get you to understand the bigger picture. This picture that I'm trying to paint for you is essentially combining those two. The elites of the world, the powers that be, the secret societies, the Illuminati, which I'm not fond of that term, but I still use it to this day to define the Illuminati, not just power structure. But anyways, the point is, combine that with the religious Christian slash Catholicism slash church. Of course, we had that separation of church and state, which is fine with me. I don't believe that, there should be governments, but I definitely don't believe that. What the fuck? I just saw a grown man with like 2-foot long legs. That was the weirdest fucking thing. On the side of the highway. Guy's wearing a hard hat. Probably 5'5", not very tall, but his legs were like. I was like, what? Anyways, that distracted me. Forgot what I was saying. Bad way to start a video. But we're gonna talk about my ideas, especially just talking to my roommate and the traditional, what people believe about the end of times, why it's so relevant nowadays. Now, I've talked about this in my channel, bits and pieces, but I never really dove into it. So we're going to do that in this video. Ugh. Coffee burps. Alright, got enough fuel now. Alright, so if you read the Bible, especially in Revelation, it talks about how the Antichrist is going to come about. It talks about the mark of the beast, 666. It talks about you're going to need a mark in your forehead or in your hand in order to buy or sell goods, or else you're going to be casted out of society and essentially die off because of whatever reason. It talks about how the world is going to end in trumpets, and I remember reading Revelation, and it described exactly how a nuclear bomb would work. Essentially, devastation and fire, and so hot it just melts the skin off, even if you're not in the direct blast. Like the articulation of that information essentially points that picture in your head of they're describing atom bombs and nuclear warheads in the Bible that was written 2,000 years ago. Now, of course, I'm not somebody that believes that it was written 2,000 years ago. Of course, it was by religious leaders that even orchestrated the Bible and created this. And of course, it was the slaves that, they kept giving the book to the slaves, the Jewish slaves, especially in the Torah and stuff like that. I mean, if you really do the research and you're really understanding how religion was orchestrated in the early days, especially when they had slavery, like building the pyramids times, that kind of shit, like Moses, they would give these books and these ideas to the slaves to keep them going, because if they didn't have that idea of a god and things like that, of course they wouldn't be able to work as hard, and they would be like, whoa, my life has no purpose. I want to grow a garden, I want to breed, I want to raise my children, I want to experience life, but I have to be working for you idiots. And as long as they believe that there's an afterlife, like, it was able to get them by a lot easier. Of course, they did this with slaves in the United States. They've been doing it for slaves forever, right? This is how the original government was a religion, straight up, right? Like, most of us know that, and I've already told you guys this. But even in our country, they would give, they would put priests in play to get the slaves to believe in God, because it gives them like a little purpose. At least if their life here sucks, at least in the afterlife it won't suck. Things like that, right? And that idea became so good where it worked. It was something that actually worked well. They put it in paper, and they made sure that everyone followed this, right? And it became the elites, which obviously, do your research, but think of a Rothschild going to church. It doesn't happen, right? There's no one falls for this shit, right? So I just want to explain where the understanding of the philosophy of religion before we dive into how the elite uses religion nowadays, as opposed to even what they used in the past. It's still designed to control the people, and it's used as a mechanism to control. Which is obvious, right? It's pretty obvious if you just use your eyes about how it's used. The churches today, most Christians would say that the churches today are flawed. They are in it for the money. You know, you look at Joel Osteen, you look at all these people making money off, you know, just being seen. It's essentially an act. And, you know, a lot of churches always want to get more and more people in instead of getting deep into the Bible, so people get out of that faith. My family, my mom, my stepdad, they hate their church because they hated a church that we went to for like 15, 20 years. They left that because they always wanted more and more newcomers, like rookie Christians, right? So they kept saying, oh, if you want to be saved tonight, step forward. And, you know, every week is like, come on, we've been here. It's time for us, people that have been here for a while, right? So it's all designed to get more people rather than entrap them in the spirit, entrap them in, you know, deeper meanings of the Bible, etc., right? Like Bible studies. And my mom and stepdad left that church, and now they went to this church, and now they're doing the same thing, right? And I know other people that say the same thing. I hate this church. I need a new church. They're not doing it. You know, they can sing and dance and even do acts on stage and, you know, have this great message. But it's like you're having the same message. It's like Christmas time. You have the same Christmas message. Easter, you get the same Easter message. It's not anything that's developed. It's not like linear going down a certain path. It's always, this is my feelings about it. I mean, that's essentially what they do. It's like, this is what I got out of it. And I don't think that's genuine to people, especially these churchgoers that don't rely on their church. They rely on the Bible. And then they go up to the pastor afterwards and be like, hey, look at what the Bible says here. You totally contradicted yourself. What do you have to say about that? Etc., right? I mean, it's a tough job, don't get me wrong. But it's good money. You know, pastors aren't eating out of canned beans and you know, making their own, like, canned stoves to heat their little bit of beans, you know? They're fucking pretty well off, right? And people are upset about that. Well, we got to understand there is an infiltration. There is people that were, you know, legit ex-CIA, ex-FBI agents that are pastors. And they are the real fake ones. If you ever see them, you can check them out on YouTube. You know, these people that all of a sudden get into positions and all of a sudden, like, it's like, what happened to the old pastor? And they're like, oh, we don't talk about that anymore. I guess he was doing this. But all of a sudden they put their puppet in place, and it's all about that newcomer. It's about revenue. It's about cheating the people, essentially, using the book. Now, I don't want to just talk about that, but that is an aspect to this. They, legitly put in CIA agents and FBI agents. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of disinformation, misinformation, bad information that is just totally left-wing, not fucking real. Alright? But there is legit information out there, and there are people out there that will literally say, yeah, he was the CIA agent for 20, 30 years, and now he does this. You don't ever catch that person praying or anything like that. They just get into position. Same thing goes with popes, right? And bishops and things of that nature. It's a control mechanism in which a hierarchy is in control. They essentially make the rules. I mean, look at, you know, the last pope, essentially, or this pope, rather. Essentially saying, oh, if aliens exist, you know, just changing everything in people's minds. Because it doesn't matter anymore what the Bible says. It's what they say. Because they believe that the Pope is essentially like this god. Right? The same thing that, you know, Japanese and their, you know, emperor had God-given gifts and God-given right to inherit the throne. Essentially saying that they have a God-given right. And they are to be believed and understand that you're part of this thing. You're going to be dying for this king, emperor, whatever. That's essentially what this is, but strictly for Christianity. Right? Anyways, I don't want to dive down that subject all day. Let's get into more coffee. Need that coffee, man. So, the Bible. It says things in Revelation that makes you go, huh? One of those things is do yourself some research. Go on Google right now. I don't know if Google will actually do it. I mean, they used to before they were really fucking, hiding information. But look up the seal or the crest of the Antichrist. Go ahead. Go on your phone, go on Google, go on yahoo.com, whatever you got to do. Look at that crest and seal of the Antichrist. It is almost precisely the same as the emblem on your Marlboro pack of cigarettes, right? The lion heads, and they have the crest, and they have the olive branches, and it's the exact fucking symbol. And when you read the Bible about exactly how they describe the Antichrist symbol, without looking at that picture, just read what the Bible describes as that Antichrist symbol. And then, boom, look at your Marlboro packer, or most packs of cigarettes. They're going to have a lot of that same thing. The two heads of lions, and it's the exact same thing, where one has a crown. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact, and that's what they describe as the crest of the Antichrist. Which, I almost spoiled it. We'll get to that later. We'll go to another example. Now, a lot of people already know this one. 666, the mark of the beast. Without the mark of the beast, you can't buy or sell goods. It's short, according to the Bible. The Bible says that the number of the beast is 666. Now, of course, you can look at your energy drink Monster can. Essentially, that Monster can says 666 right on it, right in the original language. So in Arabic, 666 almost looks like crooked sevens, and those crooked sevens turn into M, like it was monster. And of course, the T is a cross. You can definitely see that right in there. So monster is 666. Monster 666. Beast 666. It's essentially the same thing. Now the question becomes, do the corporations use this as a way to market? Of course. Right? It's of course a marketing strategy. But are they doing it because they're confused and it just so happens to be? No, they did it for a reason. It's to market. It's pretty cool. Nowadays, satanic ideas and Luciferian ideas are essentially pretty hip and pretty cool. I mean, you can find this in many different aspects of life, where people are finding it much more cool to be buying Monster 666 cans. That's essentially, it's not satanic, but it's Antichrist. It's the beast, right? It's an energy drink. It's going to give you heart palpitations. It's not going to be good for your health. Right? Same thing with that Marlboro pack of cigarettes. They're adding all these chemicals to your tobacco that was harmful to begin with. And they're saying essentially, smoke your cigarettes, drink this thing. You're dumb. You're dumb people for buying these things that are killing you. Right? Now, I know that some of you guys drink energy drinks. I know some of you guys, look at the fucking Red Bull can. Essentially, that's the Antichrist symbol. Like, they use the Antichrist symbol. They use the mark of the beast, 666. Come on. In the original language, in Arabic, they are marketing, essentially, these corporations are marketing death products to you in the name of the mark of evil, essentially, according to the Bible. So we got to understand and take this into consideration. Why are they doing it? Is it just marketing? Or is there a bigger plan? It's essentially saying to some Christians that, wow, look at this. This is correct. this is right. It's the same thing like, same thing that we're looking at a cashless society now. We're using credit cards. We have the chip in the credit card now. It used to scare people about, having barcodes. People used to go up in arms. Oh, that's the mark of the beast, that barcode. They're just scanning things, and things are, they used to think that was the mark of the beast. And then they thought that credit cards were. And now they think that the RFID chips are. But the point is, just like the Bible says that you're going to buy and sell goods, you can put a chip in your hand, let's say, or in your phone or whatever, if you have the phone in your hand, whatever it is going to be, right? Whatever. But it lines up to what the Bible said. Isn't that a coincidence? See, again, because I started off, it's all bullshit. But there is a design that has always went down from generation to generation to generation about using the words of the Bible, and they've changed it over years and years, over the rules. Of course, watch my video when I say basically you got to say the name of your God. You got to say the name, because we're saying the words Jesus and things like that, which the J wasn't even in the English language until well after the Bible was first written. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You think these people were names of Middle Easterns 2,000 years ago? They've changed the Bible over and over and over again to make sure that it's relevant for you to believe it, so then you believe that there's some afterlife, there is a way to survive after this life, to give you a little bit of hope. And that little bit of hope gets you to grind hard now to run the wheel of the hamsters, the hamster wheel of the Matrix, in order to be controlled. They are controlling you through the religious ideas, and they manipulate the Bible every time to make it more applicable to you. Like I said, say the name of your God. What's the name of God? In the Bible nowadays it says the Lord your God. Right? God. It's not his name. Right? It used to be Yahweh. Right? So why don't you stop saying God? Why don't you just say Yahweh? That's its name. It only changed recently. Jesus wasn't his name. That's a Spanish name. They didn't have Spanish people in the Middle East. Jesus, really. Jesus didn't exist. That name didn't exist. In the Bible, it said that his name was, I always this up, could be Yahweh, which I think it was, or Yeshua was his name. But we say Jesus. That's not his name. Just like there's no one named Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. So they've been manipulating the Bible year after year to make it more applicable and reasonable for you. Okay, well, we're going to put this Bible into a white nation. They control white people, so let's give them names that they are familiar with so they feel more relatable. Come on now. That's how King James changed his version. That's how all these kings and rulers and elites changed the book in order to control people. Essentially, what's written in Revelation is making people stick around. Oh, this is the end times. Everyone saw this coming. Everyone saw this coming. How technology can change. What information they have, which, of course, watch that video, Luciferian and Satanic Occult. When I made that video, I talked about how the Statue of Liberty came to America. This country is not founded on freedom lovers. This country is founded on a ruling class. Those founding fathers were all Illuminati. The real Illuminati, not some fake shit. This country was founded on controlling the people and continuing to carry the light. So that Statue of Liberty was essentially given from the French, the Freemasons of the French, to the Freemasons in America. The statue, if you look at it, is holding the torch What's the torch means? You carry the light, or you're bearer of light. That statue is of Lucifer, who is also known as the morning star. When you're looking at the morning star, they have the position of Lucifer facing towards the east. So when the sun rises in the east, it's shining on him. The morning star. Wake up. They have the 5-point star right on his head. It's Lucifer. They are carrying the light. They are taking the knowledge of the elites that I've been telling you guys have been around for thousands of years, not just a few centuries, thousands of years, controlling the world. They have been doing this for a long, long, long time. They have just perfected it nowadays to control the masses by producing control from the state and religion. So there is no way out. There is no freedom. There is no way that you can figure out all of their knowledge. They have, watch my video, The Powers That Be. Watch my video on secret societies and the occult. All of those videos, I encourage you to watch them so you understand when I go in depth about how it's orchestrated, how they get their families to become CEOs of companies, and they're all destined to be in certain positions of power. And then they become the heads of corporations, which control the state. Now, of course, even banks. All the big central bankers are part of this scam too. Of course, they're controlling people through money, religion, and the state. And they use numbers, which, watch my video, the building blocks of the matrix. Without numbers, they can't control you. They can't control you without numbers. Believe it. They scare you with 666. You need to pay taxation. You need money to eat. You know, the property taxes. Why do you think property taxes exist? So that you can't just live off your land. You have to spin the hamster wheel of the matrix. You have to keep working for them. You have to keep benefiting them. It's a huge structure that has been perfected for thousands and thousands of years. So when you're seeing obvious shit that is happening nowadays that was prophesized by the Revelation, it was done on purpose. These higher corporations know about the Bible and know about how it's used as a tool. And if they put their Antichrist symbol or their 666 symbol on products, bad products, that are, we all know is killing you, it's going to make the religious people still believe. And that's kind of the point. There isn't an Antichrist rhetoric in politics, in corporation. There isn't. As much as people think that they're attacking Christianity. No, they're manipulating it to make it more relevant, to make it still a useful tool. They are not using it or they're not trying to dismember and dismantle that religion. They're not doing that. They're using it as a tool that can be worked nowadays, where they're going to still have people believe it. And the dumb, naive people get taught, oh, you're drinking that Monster can. Well, this is your health benefits or the health problems you can get from this. Taurine and all these unnatural things that are manipulating your DNA to sporadic your heartbeat, beat it fast and slow, then skip beats and palpitations and things like that, heart murmurs. From that energy drink that says 666, and a Christian tells a non-Christian that, boom, you're going to be like, whoa, I believe now. I believe. Same thing if you read Revelation, which I just told my roommate to go read. I've read Revelation 6 times. I made this joke back when Trump got elected. They say that the world would end in trumpets. But I think it's just a little bit miscalculation, because I think the world's going to end in trumpets. I always thought that was funny. I'm pretty good like that. No, it just so happened trumpets. What if they change it? 30 years from now. I don't know. Anyways, the point is I'm getting at is that they manipulate and change and revise the Bible over and over and over again to be relevant to whatever people needs to read it. They put the book in all different types of languages, rewritten in a way that is consumable to the masses. It's easy to read. And, the King James Version was basically, it was written elegantly by the best writers in the world, essentially. They do this over and over and over again to control you. It is a structure and a very important influence on controlling the people from back in the days when everyone was slaves, to give them hope, which essentially, if you believe in God and believe in this stuff and believe in your leaders, then you're going to be controlled. It's the original religion. Religion was the original government. Now, I don't want to keep being a broken record here. I didn't want it to be this long. I just wanted you to understand that it's not, the Bible predicted this, in Revelation. What it is we all saw these coming. So the last time that was written was pretty obvious, especially when they have different types of ideas back in the past. Some of it's still horseshit, right? Like if they were able to describe chariots of fire going through the sky, it could easily be, a comet or something, But it also could be a huge tool to control people into doing their bidding. Oh, well, my hand at power as emperor of this great nation of Japan was brought to you by our God. So you must obey me like you would obey God. Same thing with the Pope, same thing with whatever, right? And the one good thing about church and state being separate in our country is that now you only have to obey the government. Which, if we dismantle that, then we can be free. I don't know. That's enough for this. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate down below because the majority of people claim to be Christians. The majority of Americans believe in angels. So, I'm going to offend somebody. Just like my Luciferian video back in the past, I was saying that, the elite are essentially Luciferian. They carry the light. They worship Lucifer, which was the original person that was essentially, I'll give you some knowledge, but not all of it. And I'm going to keep it for myself to control people and the masses, right? Which is essentially the role of Lucifer. Hey, I'm wise and smart. Solomon was a king that was wise and smart, right? I can go on and on and on and on. I can literally go for another 3 hours easy. But I would feel like you guys want to listen, right? Because this isn't a biblical teaching. Now, I did make a video. Man, it was a while ago. I don't remember it. Man, it was one of my earlier videos, and I remember people saying, man, this was better than any church I've ever been to. How you described. I'm pro religion in a lot of aspects, but I can't be fooled. Once you understand what's really going on, you can't be fooled. It's hard to be fooled. It's like Albert Einstein when he said, a mind stretched to new dimensions cannot, return to its old dimensions. I know I butchered that. I butcher every quote. But essentially, if you learn something, you can't just get dumb again. It's like if you realize that, the state is in control of your life, it's like, wait, that's going to always play a role in how you think. The state is doing this or whatever, right? Whatever new evidence you find, right, is going to influence the way that you think. You're not just going to be like, once you realize that NFL is essentially a way to control the masses in sports, to make everyone in the arena, yeah, my team, and picking sides and stuff, and then they control you through Democrat and Republican. I mean, this whole thing's perfected over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Now, I don't know how far back, because my only evidence shows at least 10,000 years. But I can pretty much say, like, it wouldn't be unusual if it went back tens of thousands of years. Wouldn't be unusual. But things have changed. Things have changed. Technology has come and gone. Who had the technology? What kind of power structures? Religion, government, how you controlled the people, tribes to civilizations. Like, things have changed over and 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 over again. And history has been fabricated. History has been changed. Watch my videos. History is fabricated. Watch my video. It's something like my thoughts on prehistory, meaning all that time that they wouldn't, they don't have documents of. But of course, if you go down in the basement of the Vatican, you'll find it. But you know what I'm getting at, right? There's more than what meets the eye. There's more than what's been told to you. And if you're dumb enough to just say, well, that was prophesized because they believe that there's going to be a mark of the beast and it was going to be 6, or is it the opposite, that they're using this to do their bidding, to continually control you? Do you think Monster is a huge promotion for no reason? You're watching fucking athletes that have monster cans after, you know, in UFC, if somebody wins a match, they have to hold up a can of Monster 666 and point the label at everyone. Why? There's a huge, everyone's getting paid, and you're being more and more controlled. More Satanism up front and noticeable for the masses. Of course, you can watch YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video about, oh, they're all satanic because they do this, and then they do the okay thing around their eye, which is 666. They do all this shit, right? And they put it up front, you know, and you know, Jay-Z with the pyramid with the eye, you know, like they do it over and over and over again on purpose to make Christians still applicable. Because if they destroy that, then they're only left with one major tool, and that is government. But if they have religion also in play, then they're always going to have people to be more and more controlled. It's a lot easier. They have perfected this, and they don't want to lose this. So they put people in power, like pastors of churches, bishops, the Pope, I was going to say religious leaders, and government officials, government leaders, CIA agents. Why do you think that the head of CIA, like George H.W. Bush or whoever, to become president, like, how do you think this happens? They're all in this thing together. The only thing that a cult is, it means secret. So if I say an occult society or a secret society, there's a lot of evidence for it. There's a lot of evidence. There are royal families. There is an elite. They exist. And I want to open your eyes to this so you're not played by the delusion. Ooh. City of Albuquerque police. All right. Anyways, that's enough for this video. I mean, like I said, I can keep going and, you know, give you an example after example after example. And I mean, if you have any questions, ask. You know, I don't want these videos to be hours long anymore. I want them to be short. So that's enough for this video. Stay tuned for more content. If your butt hurts, I apologize. Keep bending over like a taxpayer, you know, and keep finding safe spaces. But this is a real channel, and I'm not here to cater to your emotions. So I'm just here to spit you the truth as I see it. And if there is other truth that contradict mine, more newer evidence, I will succumb to that new evidence. But this is the best evidence that I have right now, and to connect those dots for you so you can see it in the most simplest and ideal ways, methods. Alright, Mind of Opex, I'm out. Many more content coming. Much more content. Not even speaking proper English. That's fine. See you guys.